You in a coma. Madness. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to BucosLocker. Come on in. Let's have a conversation tonight. We start our draft journey on groups, position groups for this upcoming draft coming this week. Looking forward to it, and we're going to kick it off Sunday night. We're going to start out with the big boys. We're going to talk about it. We're going to be about it. We're going to have a discussion. And don't forget, we have a mock draft, a live mock draft Wednesday evening, Wednesday night. Everybody can participate. We're all going to do it at the same time. So I think that's going to be pretty fun. First time doing a live draft as far as like everybody at the same time. So everybody can make their picks at the same time and get their mock draft in before the actual draft. So we can all be on the same page. Now, there will be some mock drafts that are different because of our mindsets and how we think the team should approach as far as the position, the time of the pick, who's been picked already, what's on the board, who's on the board, what's the most important position of need from top to bottom. And probably some people just draft because they want to be different, But shout out to all the Pirates Sea Bandits. Subscribe to this channel, share all the videos, and don't forget to hit the notification bell icon to notify you on all new videos that's posted on this channel. Pirates and Sea Bandits in the building. Are you ready? Pirates, are you ready? Sea Bandits, are you ready for the NFL Draft 2024? Who you want the Bucs to pick? Where should we start at? But as you can see, the hashtag need starters. Because as of right now, prior to this draft, the Bucs are the same. Unless you a top tier team, being the same is not going to help you win a lot of games. It'll keep you competitive if you have like pretty decent players. You will be competitive, but you will not be considered upper tier or second upper or tier 2. So it's imperative for the Bucs to get some quality starters, to draft impactful pieces, not guys that's going to take a year or two to develop. We need to get to that Tristan Wirfs, Antoine Whitfield Jr. draft class. First and second round, back to back. Because since those two picks, up until the 2023 draft, it's been lukewarm at best. 2021 draft, no true like difference maker. The 2021 draft, the 2022 draft, no real like, oh my gosh, this dude. Right? And then last year, we was able to snag, Kalaji Clancy and Yaya Diaby. But the jury is still out on those guys. Even those guys are good, but are they going to be upper tier players for the Bucs? That's what the Bucs need, more of those. They need about 3 more upper tier players. And not just at any position. They need them at vital positions. In particular, in today's conversation, O-line, D-line. The Bucs haven't been good in that part of the team in a couple years now. It's been a couple years since the Bucs D-line has done anything of significance. Now, If you want to go back to the Shaq Barrett season, his historic outlier season, that was what, 2019? After that, he's been going downhill and pretty much played himself out of the Bucks. You feel me? So I'm just saying, the Bucks need some difference makers. You can't have a zero technique defensive lineman, nose tackle, leading your team in sacks or second on your team with sacks, with 6.5 sacks. Vita is not a sack guy. I think he can be if he lose 30 more pounds and get to that 315, 320 range, Chris Jones range. But for whatever reason, he don't want to get down to 330 or 325. He wants to play at 350, 360. Right? And then you got William Golson. He's never been a sack guy. Right? All right. And then you got Yaya Diaby. He gonna need some moves if he want to get better. Can't just bull rush every time. Right? He's a powerful guy, but he's gonna need some quickness if he wants to get to the upper tier, the crust of the upper tier guys on the edge. And then you got Kalijah Clancy, who can be a Geno Atkins, John Randall, Aaron Donald type guy, but I don't know. He has some limitations. We saw that, right? Can't really be a great run defender. He can penetrate, one gap type guy. He's not a two gap guy. He's up the field, pick a gap and go. He got to go up the field. He can't sit there and try to play games with the guard and center. He's smallish, short arms. I don't think, as of right now, I don't think he's as powerful as John Randall or Geno Atkins or Aaron Donald. Okay? He's not as powerful as those three guys. He fits the same mold, but he is not as as from what my eyes tell me, he's not as powerful as those three guys. Those guys are powerful for small defensive tackles. See, now I will say this about Kalijah Clancy. He will be a hell of a 4-3 defensive tackle with a big guy next to him. But in a 3-4, nah. He's going to be good, but he's going to be limited. And you saw he had some flash plays too. If the center or guard, or if they are super slow, they lack technique, and they're the bottom of the barrel guards, he's going to dominate them. Right? Now, once he started playing guards that are better, like middle of the pack guards, second tier, first tier guards, he's going to struggle. And we saw that during the season. Like once he kind of got healthy, like, he missed the first couple games of the season, had that big toe issue, something like there was something going on with his leg. And then took a couple weeks. And then once he got in there, he made some plays here and there. But you can see where the draft profile kind of explained where he can be kind of like, kind of be a non-factor against the run, consistently rushing the passer because of the lack of size, the lack of the arm length, or the wingspan is not there. So a lot of his plays are going to be made off of straight up quickness and leverage, which is good. And we saw that in multiple games. Tackles for loss. He had a couple sacks, some pressures. But he just now in season 2 with him and Yaya Diaby, he must be more consistent. Now, if he remains the same and stays like this the entire time, he's not a bad player. He's going to be a solid player. To go from solid to really good from year 1 to year 2, there must be a significant jump. You feel me? There must be a significant jump with Yaya Diaby and Kalijah Clancy. And that's a little pressure on. That's putting some pressure on those young men, but I think they can handle it. I hope they can handle it because the Bucs are going to need that from them because of the lack of depth on the D line. You can say what you want and you can do what you will with Marquise Watts and Randy Gregory. You can do with that what you will. I just don't see those guys making significant impacts. We had some folks jumping up and down, beating their chest about Randy Gregory, which is weird, and we got the leftover version of him. The leftover version of Randy Gregory. We're not getting prime Randy Gregory, or we're not getting before his prime is up Randy Gregory. We're getting a Randy Gregory that's been on a few teams. Had some off the field issues. And we took a stab at him. No top tier team was going to take him. They kind of done with him. And he's been on a couple good teams with good D linemen. Then he went to the Broncos, got a nice little contract. And then the Broncos evaluated him and said, no, thank you. The Bucs said, we'll take you because we don't have nothing but some pennies and dimes and nickels. We can't get nobody of significance in free agency because of the contract structures from previous season. Then we had to go re-sign our guys. So now we get stuck with Randy Gregory, a kind of a halfway washed Randy Gregory. He don't even fit the culture, which that signing is kind of weird if you ask me. That's a weird signing to me. I think it was almost like the Bucs just needed a name. They needed a body that with a name that can maybe do something. And to be honest with you, my expectations for him is very low. Very low. No, matter of fact, extremely low. So anything he gives us, great. If he gives us 4 sacks, that's great for him. At this point of his career, I am not holding my breath. I am not jumping up and down. I am not getting no Randy Gregory jersey. But if we can get a couple sacks from him, that's pretty cool. And for those of you I love that signing. Based on what? What evidence do you have that's going to make you believe that he's going to be a big impact going into the season? Now, we don't know what's going to happen when the season starts. I'm talking about going into the season. What are you basing the Randy Gregory signing on? Is it a really good signing? Is it going to be a difference maker? Is he going to be a difference maker? Is he going to make some noise on that D-line? Because, to be honest with you, it's almost like a cheaper version of an at least less productive Shaq Barrett. You let Shaq Barrett go because of the contract situation, and then you bring in Randy Gregory. Now, both guys are over 30, and both guys have not been productive for a few years. So it's almost like we should have just kept Shaq Barrett. But the problem was the contract was terrible. Shaq Barrett had one elite year and a good season, and he fell off. Randy Gregory has never been extremely productive. He's been productive, but he's never played up to his talent. That's right, fire the cannons. Go Bucs. We're not getting the Cowboys' Randy Gregory. This is almost like that Julio Fulio signing. The Chris Baker signing. Don't it feel like that a little bit? Don't it feel like a Chris Baker, Andre Albert Hainsworth signing? We think we're getting somebody, but we're not really getting that type of dude, man. He don't even fit the Bucs. Now he comes to a team with a weak D-line. Well, I'm gonna say more lack of depth because he's played on some teams with some some D linemen that's way better. So he should be able to dominate, to be honest with you. As far as like, who on that D line scares anybody? But again, if the Bucs line up against some of the better teams. Now, mind you, half of the league is better than the Bucks. Let's get that clear. Well, I'm gonna say it. Let me say it like let me rephrase this. I don't want nobody to get mad or offended. Um, Let me be more football oriented with what I just said. If there's 32 teams in the NFL, when it comes to overall team structure set up from top to bottom, owner all the way down to player 53, I can count from top to bottom at least 14 teams better than the Bucks. I'm not saying they're gonna at the end of the season, they're gonna be just like straight up better record. I'm just saying I can count easily 14 teams that are better than the Bucks from top to bottom. I'm not talking about nitpicking with Tristan Wirfs and Winfield Jr., and Mike Evans, nitpicking. No, I'm talking about straight up top to bottom. You grade out the GM, the front office, the drafting, the quarterback, the O-line, the D-line, the running back, the tight end, the receivers, the defensive coordinator. Heck, you just add up the points. There are 14 teams easily better than the Bucks. The Bucks fall somewhere between 15 and 18, which is not bad. Like I said, the Bucks are not a bad team. I'm always gonna keep telling y'all this. The Bucks are not a bad team. They just set up weird. They have a weird setup, no clear direction, no clear future. No clear direction, no clear future. Like the Texans or the Lions or the Packers. No clear future. Because we're not those teams moving forward. And we're not the Saints, right? We're not the Saints. We're not old and washed like the Saints, right? Or like the Jets, even though the Jets got a better defense. Of course, a better quarterback and a better running back. But we're not the Jets looking like the Jets, right? We're not the Giants. We're not the Commanders. All right. We're not the Panthers. The Carolina Kitty Cats. We're not the who else we're not? We're not the Bears, right? We're not the Bears. We're not the Cardinals, right? Who else we're not? We're not the Broncos. Those are the teams I can name off the top that I know we're better than those teams, all like off the top. We're not the Chargers, right? We're better than them. I mean that those are clear cut. I know we're better than those teams, right? And then you got those teams in the middle where the Bucks fall in at that tier 3. Packers, Falcons, the Seahawks. Who else? Minnesota. If they get a quarterback, I don't know. I think we're better than Minnesota. We're better than Minnesota. Who in the middle of the pack? The Colts, the Jags. You can bundle those teams up together. Like you can put the Bucks in with that group of teams. Middle of the pack teams. They're fighting and scratching. We're not better than the Bills. We're not better than the Dolphins, right? We better than the Patriots. We better than the Patriots. We're not better than the Bengals, the Ravens, or the Steelers, in my opinion. We're not better than the Texans. Okay. We're not better than the Chiefs. I think we're better than the Raiders. We're not better than the Chiefs, right? I think the Browns are better than us. Totally, like total team structure. They got a way better O-line and a running game. Better defense, way better defense. But anyway, so that's 8 teams right there in the AFC. I think I might have missed one. But those are, and then you got the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Lions, the 49ers. So that's what, about 13 teams right there. So I forgot it. There's 2 other teams I probably forgot to mention. But the Bucs are not terrible. They're just right outside tier 2. They're like tier 3, like a couple spots away from tier 2, bottom of tier 2. But now that's just overall. Now, as far as position groups, I think the Bucs are bottom 10 O-line, D-line. I think the Bucs are bottom 10 O-line, D-line. I'm not saying the Bucs are bottom 5. You can throw them at 20. You can throw them at 19. You can throw them up in there. But they're not good and they're not bad. That's not a good place to be in. No true difference maker on the D-line. And we'll get to the O-line in a second. Now, the Bucs O-line, I think the Bucs O-line is legit bottom 10. You can say what you want about Tristan Wirfs. That's cool. But outside of him, you put those other 4 guys together, bottom 10. Tristan Wirfs can't lift the Bucs O-line up by himself. Bottom 10 O-line. Can't run the ball. You can say what you want about Luke Gadecki and Cody Mulch. Oh, they not that bad. Well, okay. You can't have the 32nd or 31st ranked run offense and be good. It don't work like that. You can't ignore that. But the Bucs pass blocking, you know what I'm saying? Pass blocking's not bad. I know. They're not bad at pass blocking. But football is not made up just throwing the ball. It's not 7-on-7. You got to be able to run the ball. And the Bucs are terrible. Even if the Bucs were number 10 pass blocking, but your run blocking is 31st, what does that put you at? 10 plus 31 is 41, right? Divide that by 2, 20.5. They're bottom 10. They're between 19 and probably about 23. So now you got this draft. Let's get down to business. So now that I have identified probably the 2 biggest groups, the position groups that are the weakest outside of linebacker. Or depth. Or linebacker's good. I'm just saying depth-wise. But just from the O-line, D-line perspective, I know the league is about quarterbacks, top flight receivers and cornerbacks, but at the end of the day, you see the difference makers, man. And when you don't have that O-line, D-line, you're limited. Especially when you have a mediocre quarterback. Look, Baker Mayfield, you can throw Baker Mayfield if the Bucs get a Detroit Lions O-line or Minnesota setup with their O-line or Cleveland Browns O-line. And Baker can have that, a Jared Goff situation, right? But you got to get some yak receivers. But we'll get into that in another day. Because the Bucs don't have yak receivers, which that's another area that the Bucs need to address too. Now, as we get closer, you start to see what's going on here with the Bucs. They got some clear needs. You can say what you will with the Bucs, but they got some clear needs. And we about to break this down with the O-line, D-line. So let's talk about it. Let's pull it up. Let's have a conversation. Y'all want to talk about the O-line first, the O-line prospects, or y'all want to talk about the D-line prospects? Where y'all want to go with this? Let me give me some shout outs on the folks that's joining me tonight on the Sunday night draft discussion, O-line, D-line, aka trenches. Welcome for those of you that have just joined the locker room. I appreciate you coming in. Let me give me some shout outs real quick. Who is in the building? We got some regulars. We got Steve and Uncle Toasty. We got Matt Diaflamorte. But I'm having a hard time talking right now. I don't know why. Matt Delfamorte. I can say that name. I just have a tongue tie right now. Uh, Brent O'Neill, Fire the Cannons, Go Bucks. Antonio Santiago, Young D's baby. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. What's up, man? Mopar Buck in the building. Bucks Life, all caps. A-Rod in the building as usual. Giovanni. Let me see if I get his last name correct. Giovanni Zuzzo. Zizio. I think I might have said that right. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize. Sharam, did I say that right? Triani, or Triani Sharam. Jonathan Jackson, Jerron B, Big Buck, Matt D. Okay, I got you. D Flamorte. I'm gonna get that name. Cover two quarterback spy. What you mean cover two? Get cover two. What you talking about cover two? You talking about Madden cover two or Joe Montana Sports Talk Football cover two? All right, so Big Buck said, "Let's talk about O-line, please." All right, well, we're gonna go with O-line then, since Big Buck was the only one that spoke up. We just gonna go with O-line. Let's talk about O-line. O-line draft prospects. Let's pull it up. So, tell me what you think about the O-line. There's some situations where the Bucks can be in a weird spot, and I mean in a good way. In a good way, okay? And now when I say weird, when it comes to this particular situation, the Bucks can be in a good spot. It can happen. You never know, but it can happen like that, right? And we're going to talk about it, right? So there's some prospects, right? So we know we're not getting Joe Alt or Fashanu. JC Latham could drop. Maybe he might drop. I don't know. He might not get past the Saints. The Saints made a terrible decision signing Trevor Penning. They're looking for his replacement already. But Fuaga, Fulatu, the Washington, Troy F. Fatunahu, Amarius Mims. We've seen him in the mock draft for the Bucks. These are tackles. We're going through the tackles right now. So they got Graham Barton listed as a tackle. I know there's been a lot of talk about Graham Barton amongst me and others. Graham Barton, 6'5", 313 pounds, can play tackle if need be. But they say he probably would be a better guard because of his arm wingspan. And they got Jackson Powers Johnson. He's a center. Tyler Guyton, a tackle from Oklahoma, getting some buzz. Jordan Morgan getting some buzz. Zach Frazier getting some buzz. Christian Hayes, UConn guard, which is pretty good too. He's pretty good. He's getting some buzz now. Late in the game, these are late guys that are getting some buzz, and for the late first, second round, early third round pick. Let me see, Cooper Beebe getting some buzz. Blake Fisher getting some buzz. The BYU tackle, Kinsley, I can't pronounce his last name. He getting some buzz. Patrick Paul, he's getting some buzz. Dominique Poini, he's getting some buzz. So there's some guys. There's a lot of, I just named about 10, 12 guys right there. You know what I'm saying? Brandon Coleman, he's getting some buzz. I seen him at the Senior Bowl. He looked pretty decent at the Senior Bowl. Or was that Brandon Coleman? He was at the Senior Bowl? I think he was. But I remember seeing him. I like Zach Zenter, guard. So we had about 15 people I just named, guards and tackles. So there's a high probability that the Bucks are going to take an O-lineman in the first 2 rounds, right? There's a high probability. As I look at this list, the Tainor Bortonelli, the Wisconsin center, keep a lookout on him. Trevor Keegan, keep a lookout for him in the second, third round. These are guys that I've seen play. On that Utah tackle, he's pretty decent. Probably like a third, fourth round pick. These are some of the guys I've seen play on TV. Because on Saturdays I always watch college football, so I can recognize some of these names and the teams they played for. Um, yeah, so I pretty much named easily named about 17 O linemen, whether it's tackle or guard or center. So this is draft. This draft class is deep, so there shouldn't be an excuse as far as getting uh, a O lineman to fill a need, right? So we're gonna start with the centers because I think that will be the biggest thing the Bucks need to address, like if they can. Um, Brotolini, yeah, that the Wisconsin guard. That's the one I've been talking about. I think he's pretty nice. He blocked for Braylon Allen. He blocked for him. The Wisconsin running game was pretty good too. Um, so the Bucks gonna be at 26. Y'all know about me in the trenches, right? So the Bucks are at 26. There's a high probability in my gut that the Bucks are gonna go with O-line at 26. Yeah, I know we talked about receiver, we talked about linebacker and cornerback, but if everything plays out like it's supposed to, and the guys that we talk about tonight are on the board at 26, you must take one. Now, you might have to reach for one, like that might be too high, but if you got a need, you got to take it. You know what I'm saying? So, what do I think about Cody Mulch? Um, uh, he's okay. He gotta make a jump though. I see a lot of Alex Kappa. Like it's gonna take about 3 years for him to kind of like make a difference. But I just kind of got a feeling that whoever the Bucks draft at 26, if they draft the O lineman interior, whether it's a center or a left guard, I think that person that they draft at 26 is going to be a lot better than Cody Mulch. As far as impactful, they're gonna have a bigger impact. They're gonna be a better player. I mean, did they reach for Cody Mulch? Most likely they did, but they needed they had a need, right? But whoever they draft at 26, whether it's center or guard, if available, the player, and we'll get into that in a second. Whoever they draft is going to be better than Cody Mulch. Going to have a bigger impact. Okay. That's no disrespect to Cody Mulch or Robert Hainsley. It's just that those guys are not impactful like that. You know, like I said, now, and I'm gonna keep saying this goes for every team, not just for the Bucks. There will be guys in this draft that are better than Luke Gadecki, that are better than Cody Mulch, better than Robert Hainsley, and whoever the Bucks right now they left guard. It's gonna be better. It's gonna be guys that are better. It's just what it is, because the way the Bucks draft in those positions, they didn't draft like high impactful guys. So when you look at this draft, and let's talk about the centers. Let's start out with the centers. When you look at this draft, there's probably about 4 or 5 centers better than Hainsley off the rip. In their first season, they're gonna be better. Like week 1, they're better already. Matter of fact, training camp, they just better already. So let's talk about it. Jackson Powers Johnson off the rip. He's gonna have a Creed Humphrey, Jason Kelsey, impact. Remember when Creed Humphrey got drafted, and people was like, why did the Eagles draft the Creed Humphrey? You see why they drafted Creed Humphrey, right? Jackson Powers Johnson got that type of impact going into the season. He can come in and make the Bucks O-line so much better right away. You won't even think about Cody Mulch. You won't even think about it. And he's versatile enough to play guard if he need be, right? Because remember people forget this. I don't know if people let me bring this up real quick when it comes to Cody Mulch. Right? Let me Hank, what's up, man? You raise that finger. Hank knew what time it is. Hank know what time it is, man. You know what time it is. Appreciate it, man. Remember when Jason Light do y'all remember when Jason Light said Cody Mulch future could be at center? Do y'all remember that? Let's stop there for a second. Do y'all remember when Jason Light was like, Cody Marsh can probably might be in the center or down the road, or he could play center. Y'all remember that? Give me a thumbs up if y'all remember that. Before we go any farther, we need to make sure we're on the same page. These Mystic Kiwi strawberry drinks are so good. Y'all remember that by Cody Mulch? No, he said Cody Mulch can be a future center. Y'all remember that? Y'all don't remember that? Do I need to bring up the article? Come on, Big Buck. I know Ali Marpet can play. I know that. I'm talking about Cody Mulch. You don't remember that? I remember that. He said, yeah, Cody Mulch can play center. Because Cody Mulch is not a big guard. He's not a real big guard. He's just nasty. He's not a beefy guard. You know, guard's supposed to be like 6'4", 330. You know? Cody Mulch is a small guard. That's why he got ragdoll a few times. Like, I hate to say it, but you go watch that tape. We might can watch it tonight. He got ragdoll a few times. He was a ragdoll. I ain't trying to knock him, but he got ragdoll a few times. You know what I'm saying? Cody Mulch is just an undersized guard. And most likely, this is what I'm saying, the Bucks have an opportunity to make some moves, right? Because if they don't get the center that they want, right, they can go guard again and kick Cody Mulch down the center and get a better guard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying Cody Mulch is a bad guard, but if you got a guy that can play guard, I mean, I'm just saying. But the problem with the Bucks is if you draft a guard, you're going to put him at left guard. You're not going to move Cody Mulch to the center, but you're still going to have a hole. So either way, the Bucks are going to have a hole unless they address that in the later rounds with the second, third round pick. Or back-to-back first round and second round pick, O-line. And then in the third round, you go D-line receiver or however you want to do that. But either way, if the Bucks draft a guard, they're going to have a hole at the other guard. If they draft a center, they're going to have a hole at left guard. So whoever the Bucks draft they're going to have a hole somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Cody Mulch is an undersized guard. He's supposed to be nasty, but he got ragdoll. Damien, what's up, man? Putty, what's up, buddy? He got ragdoll, man. Most teams' guards are like 6'4", 330 pounds. So, in a way, Cody Mulch is light in the butt. Unless he's going to put on some weight in the offseason. I'm just saying. I mean, they moving to center. You still got to get a guard. You need two guards. Now, you can't. Now, I do understand all five of your O-linemen can't be like upper tier guys. I get that. So at least if you can have three O-linemen that are like difference makers, the other two really won't be a big problem. You know, because the Bucks are solid at they're set at left tackle, right? Tristan Wirfs, top 5, top 3 left tackle, right? Right tackle, I think the jury's still out for Luke Gadecki. I'm not 100% sold on him yet. He's had some good moments, don't get me wrong. You got Cody Mulch, the jury's still on him still. He might play center. Robert Hainsley, I'm kind of over him, man. He just gets ragdoll too much. He don't have a good anchor. And then our left guard, God knows what we're doing there. So let's get to these centers. Jackson Powers Johnson, 6'3", 330 pounds. Zach Frazier, 6'3", 313. Cedric Van Pran from Georgia. 6'4", 300 pounds. 298, but we will round him up to 300. Those are the top 3 centers. You got a Penn State center. So your cream of the crop centers is basically Jackson Powers Johnson Zach Frazier. I don't think Zach Frazier is a first round pick at 26. I don't think he's a first. Don't be surprised the team go get him, but I don't think at the Bucks position at 26, if Jackson Powers Johnson is not available, which there's a high probability that he will not be there at 2026 because I don't think he gets past the Eagles because the Eagles lost Jason Kelsey. And you think they're gonna let Jackson Powers Johnson fall past them? I don't think so. So, long story short, I think the Bucks might need to trade up in front of 22. Even the Cowboys might take them, right? I'm just saying. I'm just throwing some teams out there in front of the Bucks that can definitely use a Jackson Powers Johnson. So most likely, they're going to need to jump in front of 22, in front of the Eagles, if you want Jackson Powers Johnson. Zach Frazier will be available at 26. I just don't see the Bucks taking him at 26, in my opinion. He's a perfect second round pick. Zach Frazier. He's a plug and play guy. And that's what the Bucks need. But you can't take Jackson Powers Johnson at 26. I mean, you can't take Zach Frazier at 26. It just doesn't make it. It just the value is just not there. Because there's only one really, really true, like bona fide elite center. Jackson Powers Johnson. And once again, I'm gonna say this again. And if you don't believe me, come Thursday this week, you think he gonna get there to 26? You really believe a center like Jackson Powers Johnson, when there are several teams in front of the Bucks that can use that center, is going to let Jackson Powers Johnson fall all the way to 26? Come on, let's keep it real. You out your cotton picking mind if Jackson Powers Johnson is going to be there at 26. And the only reason why he's there at 26 because the draft went sideways. The draft went sideways like an MF. And we'll go through the draft order too. Matter of fact, we'll go through it right now. Let me point out these teams that can take a Jackson Powers Johnson. That can use a center. Jets, Raiders, Seattle, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Rams, Philly, Dallas at 24. So I don't think he gets past Dallas. And we two picks behind Dallas. We're 2 picks behind Dallas. Al's 335. Hey Isaiah, nice in chat. Nope. Powers will be gone by 26. I agree. The more and more I look at this draft order, the Eagles pick at 22, the Cowboys pick at 24. You really think Jackson Powers Johnson is going to fall past them two? Because if he gets past the Eagles, Dallas going to be licking their chumps. Just keeping it real, y'all. So then that leaves us with Zach Frazier. And do you see the Bucks taking Zach Frazier at 26? Do you see the Bucks taking Zach Frazier at 26? I can't wait to do my mock draft. I might even trade up to go get Jackson Powers Johnson in my mock draft. I might do that. I might be able to do that. Might have to. Might have to get what I want. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, just keep it real. Now, as you move down the list after Zach Frazier, you got Cedric Van Pran, but he's not a first round pick. Maybe a second, definitely a third. You know, and then you got Tanner Brocellini, who I like. Now he'll be a good third round pick. He will be like the Bucs got 2 third-round picks. Tanner Brocellini, go watch the Wisconsin tape, folks. Breland Allen, the running back, who the Bucs probably can draft him too. But Tanner Brocellini, pretty good. Not a first round pick, maybe a late second, but definitely a third round pick. And the Bucs can definitely use him at center. Center's supposed to be quick and strong, right? Quick and strong, wrestler background. But the thing about Tanner Brocellini, the Wisconsin guard, he can play multiple interior positions. Scheme versatility. He's offering that. Go watch the tape. Don't look at me. Go watch the tape. The dude can play. He's my sleeper. He's my sleeper pick at O-line. Just keeping it real with y'all, man. You know, I like to pick out these guys that are sleeper picks. You know, he's not a hot name, but just saying, I'm trying to get good at this, and I try to spot these guys out. I'm like, the tape look pretty good for him. He'd definitely be a third round pick. You got time? You got time? You want to talk about crypto? My portfolio, my overall portfolio is not looking. It's not bad. It's not really good, but five figures. You know, 5-figure portfolio. You know, crypto. I'm a little spread out though. I'm trying to consolidate though. I got over 40 coins. I got way too many alts. I got way too many altcoins. Now, I got Bitcoin. I got Ethereum. I got a Solana. I got some AVAX. I got some Polygon. You know, I got some meme coins. I got way too many meme coins. I got like 14 meme coins. It'd be 17. I got way too many meme coins. I'm going to consolidate them once they start running in the bull run. Once they start running up, I am going to sell off some of these meme coins. I got way too many. I need to get to like only 5 main meme coins. You know, Shiba Inu, the legacy meme coins, Shiba Inu, the Bonk, the Pepe, the Book of Meme. Those are new, but you know, I need to consolidate. Bitcoin haven't happened. Let me stop. Yeah, so base go if you want to mess with some base coins, that's gonna be a good thing for you to do. Aerodrome, base network. You want to get some base network coins, some Toshi, some bread, some Mocha, some Poncho, some Parcel, some Proppy. You know, layer 2 and layer 3s are going to be a hot topic coming down the road. Some Optimism, some Arbitrarium. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, I mess with the crypto, but yeah, I know. I'm very versatile. I can work with my hands. I can work with my brain. You know, Ton's pretty good. Ton's gonna run. Filecoin's gonna run. Chainlink is gonna run. Polkadot's gonna run a little bit. But I'm trying to stay away from the layer 1s because their market cap is really high. Their tokenomics is pretty much set. Their market cap is pretty high. It's over $1 billion. You kind of want to go with the low market caps. Anything under $500 million in market cap. Anything under 500 million market cap, you kind of want to get into that because there's a better chance that's going to go times 5, times 10 because of the TVL and the market cap and the total supply. And then you look at the numbers. But you kind of want to, you still got to have your layer 1s. You do your layer 1s. You know what I'm saying? You get your main layer 1s like Solana. Solana's going to probably outperform Ethereum. Chainlink, Solana, Avalanche. They got a big movement going on right now with the gaming community. Um, so you definitely want to get a couple layer ones, some strong layer ones. But you kind of want to make sure you get them layer twos under $500 million market cap, because if you want that times 10 times 20, it's meme coins and low market cap. I don't know what to tell you on that one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can put your money on those high end coins, those top. Stay away from the top 100. Get your main coins in your top 100. Your main ones that's gonna do real good. But try to get those coins below 150. 150, 250, market cap about 200 million, because from $200 million market cap to 2 billion, that's times 10. You know what I'm saying? If you want a coin to go times 10 from $100 million market cap to 1 billion, that's times 10. So I'm saying that's how you get your money. Meme coins run up pretty good too. So anyway, enough of that. Um, so where was I? Yeah. Uh Sinners, right? So um the Bortolini guy, I think he's gonna be a good player in my opinion. On the Bucks, if they don't get Jackson Powers Johnson, they could look at Zach Frazier in the second round or Tanner Bortolini in the third round. The draft is gonna go funny. The draft is going to go funny. Um, so just depends on how you look at the draft and what you think the Bucks need. As we stay on the O line, we're going to go to the guards, right? And this is probably where the Bucks are most likely are going to approach the first round, because guards are a big deal, right? Like, remember now, back in the day, guards wasn't a big deal, but now you better have your guard. You feel me? Let's see who we got at guard. We're gonna pull this up. I know Big Buck was talking about he got his favorite guy already, so he like Graham Barton. Um I think he might be there at 26. I mean, I don't know, but that's another good player. That's another good player. That could be available. But I think some of the guys that the Bucks do want are just good. They're just good like that. And unfortunately, they might be gone by the time the Bucks pick. Those two guys, Jackson Powers Johnson and Graham Barton, he's gotten some buzz for real. Like, his name, more than likely, he there's a 50-50 chance he's not there at 26. Cowboys and Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you got Christian Hayes, Hooper BB. But see, Graham Barton is listed as a tackle. Let's make that clear, right? But he's listed as a tackle. Um, but there's, like I said, there's teams in front of the Bucks that can use a Graham Barton or a Jackson Powers Johnson. Now, Graham Barton is going to be a good player. He looks like he's a plug and play. He kind of reminds me of Quentin Wilson. I mean, Quentin Nelson. That's who Graham Barton remind me of. He remind me of a Quentin Nelson. Plug and play right away impact player. And looking at the draft order here, once again, the Bucks are at 26. Green Bay, Dallas, Philly, Miami, Seattle, Rams, Cincinnati. You don't think those teams are going to be looking at those guys? You don't think the two players that a lot of the Bucks fans are targeting for the Bucks, there's teams in front of the Bucks that I'm pretty sure they're looking at those guys too. we're not the only. You can't be that. Don't be naive and think that we're going to get those guys. Being at 26 sometimes is a good thing and sometimes it's not a great thing. And especially in the Bucks situation, they're sitting in a draft spot where it's a tradable spot. It's a trade up or trade back spot. It's not really a spot that you sit at. That's a spot where you go up and get your guy. Or you trade back and you accumulate more draft picks. So don't be surprised the Bucks make a move. Remember, they did this with Jermaine Johnson. When Jermaine Johnson got drafted by the Jets and Devontae Wyatt was sitting there, the Bucks said, no, we'll trade back. And we took Logan Hall with pick number 33. This can be one of those situations. Once again, the Bucks are in the position to draft a solid player, and they said, no thanks, we'll trade back. You know what I'm saying? But I'm for sure, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this about Jackson Powers Johnson. I don't think he's gonna be there at 26. He's too good. Let me repeat the teams that are looking for O-line help. Chicago, Jets, Minnesota, Denver, Vegas, New Orleans, Seattle, Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Miami, Philly, Dallas. They're looking for O-line help. And when you got two high-end players, kind of like a Jason Kelsey and a Quentin Nelson type players, they kind of go, man. They kind of go. So Graham Barton at 26, 50-50 chance in my opinion. I hope he fall to 26. I'm not even, to be honest with you, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not even really thinking about Jackson Powers Johnson at 26 anymore, unless the Bucks trade up. If the Bucks trade up, then I'm like, okay, they're going to get Jackson Powers Johnson or Jared Versey, right? But we'll get to D-line in a second. But I'm not even thinking about Jackson Powers Johnson at 26. Graham Barton, I can see at 26, but it just depends on what Seattle and a few of these other teams do. You know what I'm saying? He said, you hope Kuiper can find some dirt on who? On Jackson Powers Johnson and Graham Barton? I hope they come up with some dirt on those guys and they can hurt their draft stock. But those guys are too clean, man. But that sucks too because I know we was hyped up. I was hyped up when I saw Jackson Powers Johnson at the Senior Bowl. And I saw Graham Barton. I was like, oh man, these dudes gonna be nice for the Bucks. And as we get close to the draft, he's like, I don't think those guys are gonna be available. And I don't think those guys are gonna be available at 26, man. We'll have a better chance of getting Graham Barton than Jackson Powers Johnson. Let's be real. It's gonna hurt too that we can't get a guy like that. When the last time the Bucks had a really good center, like drafted a really good center? Yeah, we had Ryan Jansen, but he was with the Raiders. I mean the Ravens. When have the Bucks actually drafted a center? Like, and he was like really, really good. Ryan Howard, you're right. They was at 26 in 2022, and they wanted Jermaine Johnson, and then they said he got drafted by the Jets. They traded back and they took Logan Hall. They could have took Devontae Wyatt, who's actually better than Logan Hall. They could have took Travis Jones, who's better than Logan Hall. I mean, but hopefully they did. Hopefully they did learn their lesson. What's up, Michael Alexander? Ooh, I'll tell you what, Michael Alexander, that Trevor Penning pick, man, that dude, you can't even play him. What was y'all thinking with that pick, man? That's like the Bucks picking Roberto Aguayo in the second round. Y'all picked Trevor Penning. He came from what was the college he came from? What Trevor Penning came from? He came from what was that? It was a powerhouse college. Was it Northern Iowa or something like that? what was it, Northern Iowa? Um, Northern Iowa, I think. But yeah, y'all drafted Trevor Penning. Yeah, Northern Iowa. Yep, Northern Iowa. And I was right. So they drafted Olave and Trevor Penning, and Olave was impact right away. Trevor Penning, he had issues already, injury, and then y'all put him out there at left tackle, and he was a disaster. And then y'all put him at guard. It was like, man, and you gotta play him. You gotta play him. You gotta play Trevor Penning at some point because he's a first round pick. And now the Saints got to turn around and draft another O lineman to make up for the blunder by Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen is y'all head coach, and he gonna do stuff like that. Now y'all got to turn around and draft the Penn State tackle or the Oregon State tackle or the Washington tackle or the Alabama tackle to make up for that blunder. When you mess up in the first round and there are other players that are impactful that's drafted after him, that sets you back. That sets you back 2 or 3 years. Now you got to play catch up. Instead of drafting for another position, you got to draft that position again. But the good thing about it is, at least from the Saints fan base, at least y'all have identified, move on from the pick. Like, don't even try to, salvage the pick and be like, we'll put him at guard, or left guard, or right guard, or whatever. Be like, nah, he just can't play. See, now the Bucs, on the other hand, the Bucs like to play it out. Year 1, didn't play good. Year 2, we'll stick it out. Year 3, we got a situation like that with Joe Tryon. Joe Tryon was drafted, and we let it play out, hoping that he's going to be better, and he's not going to get better. Devin White, he's another situation where the Bucs let it play out, and we didn't get nothing for him. O.J. Howard, that's another situation where the Bucs drafted a guy pretty high, and he didn't pan out, and they held on too long. Sometimes you just got to cut your losses right away. You got to cut your losses. You just got to cut your losses. And the Bucs have a hard time doing that. The Bucs have a hard time cutting bait from a player that is not performing after year 1. Now we're gonna see what the Saints do. Most likely, y'all gonna probably go O-line again. The Oregon State tackle or the because Ryan Ramczyk getting up there in age too. You know what I'm saying? Doug Marrone. Doug Marrone, man. I remember that guy, head coach. He was terrible. But yeah, Dennis Allen, man, got y'all screwed, man. Got y'all screwed, man. Y'all screwed. Anyway, but let's get back to the Bucs. Yeah, so when it comes to the Bucs, getting a guard is more important now. Getting a guard is really important for the Bucs. I'm gonna just keep it 100, and I would do it like this. I would move Cody Maltz to center and draft a guard, a right guard. I'm just saying. I would draft. I would pray to draft. I would pray for Graham Barton to fall to 26. I would take him. Now you can put him next to Tristan Wirfs. That wouldn't be bad, but you still got a problem at center. Yep, the Cardinals did it too. The Cardinals said they drafted Josh Rosen, and what did the Cardinals do? They was like, man, we're gonna get Kyler Murray. You can't play around. You gotta be able to identify if he's the guy or not immediately. You can't be waiting 3 years and good players passing up every year. You passing up good players at the same position because you hope your guy pans out. I'm just saying. Oh, Sports Guru. Shout out to Sports Guru. Michael Penix. If he's there at 26, I don't want to talk about that right now. I'm talking about the O line right now. I'm talking about O line, D line. We're about to get into the D line in about 10 minutes, but we're focused on the O-line, D-line. That conversation will come at another date. Um, so Sports Guru, I'm not ignoring you. That's just not the topic of conversation. That's not the topic of conversation. We're talking about the trenches. Regardless of who the quarterback is for the Bucks must address the O-line. If you want to talk about other stuff, this is not the conversation tonight. Okay? So, as I was saying, the Bucks have a few ways they can go with this, right? Um, so you got Christian Haynes, Cooper Beebe, Christian Mahogany, of course Graham Barton, Zach Zinter, he's pretty decent, Michigan guard. Trevor Keegan wouldn't be bad at all. Like, look, anything coming out of Michigan, to be honest with you, that wouldn't be bad at all. I'm gonna keep that 1,000 with y'all. Like, Michigan O-line blocked pretty good. They can run block. Now, that's one thing you will get out of a Michigan guard, Zach Zinter or Trevor Keegan. Run blocking. And the Bucks definitely can use a road grader. They can definitely use some guards that can block. I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all. I'm just saying. Keegan Bills, the Utah guard. You know what I'm saying? He's pretty decent. Matthew Jones, possibly. But the Bucks definitely need to get some run blocking guards. And there's a few of them in this draft. And they're going to be available. Well, the main ones, is Graham Barton, and Cooper Beebe. Now, Cooper Beebe would be a great second round pick. A great second round pick. Just keeping it real with y'all. But Tanner Bortolini, he graded out pretty good, man. Athleticism, he's athletic. That's my Cooper Beebe graded out decent, but Tanner Bortolini graded out better, in my opinion. Now, my grading system is a little different, but Cooper Beebe will be a plug and play guard too. So don't get me wrong, that'll work too. Cooper Beebe, you can plug, but he's not a first round pick. You feel me? Not a first round pick. Not a first round pick though. Just saying. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. So it's only two O linemen where the Bucks are picking at. It's only two O linemen that the Bucks can truly pick at 26 that you can justify. Okay, the rest of those guys I named, they're more second round picks, second and third round picks, which is not bad at all. Not bad at all. Just saying. The Bucks have not, and the reason why the Bucks got to go back to the O line again is because they didn't draft like they're supposed to, and on the trenches. Luke Decky and Cody Mulch and Robert Hainsley. Those guys are man. Like they Jags, man. No more Jags, and no disrespect, but they Jags, man. They're not true difference makers. Tackle, right, left tackle, center, and right tackle. Those are three areas right there. Those are three prime positions that the Bucks need to, two of them, center and I ain't gonna say right guard, right tackle, because they can roll with Luke Gadecki. They think he's gonna be this elite right tackle. I think he'll be serviceable at best. Nothing like crazy and nothing like that. But what about this though? The scenario where one of the tackles is there at 26. What if one of the tackles are there at 26? When I mean by one of the tackles, I'm talking about one of those top level tackles. Like what would you do, Bucks fans? What would you do if? Let me go for the tackles real quick. That can be there at 26. What would you do if J.C. Latham is there at 26? A Fuaga, a Fontuni, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but what if these guys are there at 26 because of the draft? Receivers and cornerbacks and quarterbacks. What if Amarius Mims is there at 26? Or Tyler Guyton there at 26? Patrick Paul is there at 26. What would you do? Ooh. What if one of those tackles are sitting there? Like, hey, I didn't think he's gonna fall this far. What would you do, Bucks fans? Would you take one of those tackles and move him to guard, or you just trade out? Or Brandon Coleman? What would you do, Bucks fans? I just throw a little monkey wrench in there before I go, as I transition to the D line. What would you do if one of those tackles are there at 26? You would trade back? Yeah, I mean, but what if Fuaga is there at 26? I'm just saying because of how the draft plays out, and Fuaga falls, or that, a top level tackle just falls to us at 26 because teams are drafting receivers and cornerbacks and quarterbacks, and the guys start falling. Wouldn't that be pretty cool? I ain't even gonna hold you. If one of the top tackles is sitting there, I wouldn't be mad if the Bucks take him and be like, we'll figure it out. You never can have much. You never can have enough talent on the O line. I'm just saying. So let's transition into the D line. Let's have a little fun with the D line, right? So we have multiple guys that can be there at 26, right? Latu, Jared Versey, Newton, Byron Murphy, who I like Byron Murphy. He he's bigger than Kalaji Clancy. Actually, well, as far as like strength, he's more stronger than he. Actually, to be honest with you, he reminds me more of a John Randall, a Geno Atkins, or Aaron Donald than Kalaji Clancy, because he's stronger. Dog, Byron Murphy is strong as hell. Did you see him at the Senior Bowl? 6 foot, 300 pounds. Warren Sapp was about 6'1", 300 pounds. He kind of got that style, nasty with the hands. But Chop Robinson, who I'm not a fan of him. I don't trust Chop Robinson. I done seen guys like him, and I ain't with it. I done seen guys like him. I'm like, nah, I'm straight. Darius Robinson, who I think will fit the Bucks very well, but would you take him at 26? A Brayton Fisk, he has a motor on him. He 6'4", 300 pounds. Can rush the quarterback, quick first step, disruptive, and a relentless motor. And the Bucks need a bunch of those guys on that D line. Chris Jenkins, he did very well at the Senior Bowl. Adedicia Isaac, who people like better than Chop Robinson. He might have a better career. Ruku or I can't pronounce his name, but he's pretty good. The guy from Clemson. Devontae Sweat. That dude is ridiculously strong. And he can rush the passer. Austin Booker, I saw him at the Senior Bowl. He looked light in the butt, but I like his athleticism. I saw a lot of these guys at the Senior Bowl. Michael Hall Jr., Marshawn Nealon, my guy. Marshawn Nealon. Be aware, folks. I'm just saying. The Bucks brought him in for a visit, top 30 visit. Be aware. Be aware of Marshawn Nealon, folks. Braylon Trice, the Bucks should stay away from him. Jonah Ellis, I saw him at Utah. Pretty decent. Uh Makiki Wingo, LSU. Mason Smith. He actually did pretty good at Senior Bowl. Um, Let me see who else. Dwayne Carter did pretty decent. Muhammad Kamara. He's short, 6'1", 250 pounds. But he's very disruptive. He's very disruptive. Fourth round, third round pick, maybe. There's a lot of defensive linemen available that are going to be there in the first round, late at 26. That's going to be available in the second round. Leonard Taylor III, Tyler Davis, Xavier Thomas, Miles Cole, McKinley Jackson, Jordan Jefferson, Gabe Hall, Christian Boyd, Cedric Johnson. I mean, the D-line class is pretty deep, folks. I don't want to hear no excuses. So if we can't get our O-line on that first round, what you do? What would you do, folks? Who do you take? Let's go down these names again. Let's go at pick 26. If every single one of these guys are on the board at pick 26, let's go on the list. Latu, Jared Versey, Newton, Byron Murphy, Brayton Frisk, Adesia Isaac. If all those got Darius Robinson, Chop Robinson, if they all there at 26, which one would you take? Which one would you take if all those guys are available at 26? When the Bucks pick at 26, they are on the clock, and all 7 of those names are sitting right there. Who would make the best sense? Sweat, Murphy, Robinson, Isaac, Versey, Newton, Latu. Who would you pick? What would you do if you had a mock draft? No Jackson Powers Johnson, no Graham Barton. Let's talk about it. Talk to him. What's up? What's up? Talk to me. Don't get scared now, Bucks fans. This is your time to talk about it. You want to talk about this. You want to talk about D-line, O-line. Now I'm talking about it. Now you ain't got nothing to say. Don't get scared now, Bucks fans. You asked for this. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving you a lot of options. No Jackson Powers Johnson, no Graham Barton there at 26. But you got several D linemen. Which one will fit the Bucks better? Now, mind you, we need some sacks. We don't need no more run stoppers. We need sacks. People saying Newton. Y'all don't like Byron Murphy? Man, y'all tripping. All right, I'm just saying. What's wrong with Byron Murphy? Have y'all see it? Did y'all see the tape? Devontae Sweat. He's actually, to be honest with you, he might be a better pass rusher than Vita Vea. Go look at the tape. And he's strong, just as strong as Vita Vea. But he got some off the field issues, so not at 26. What about second round? What about second round? Is there a scenario where the Bucks go D-line, D-line? Is there a scenario where the Bucks go D-line, D-line, back to back, first round and second round? I doubt it, but Now I would say this though: if the Bucks go on D-line the first round, I'm pretty sure they're going O-line second round. Newton from Tampa. What's up? Newton from Tampa, huh? For those of you that don't know the Bucks draft picks, let me run this down for y'all. The Bucks have picked 26, 57, 89, 92, 125, 220, and 246. So the Bucks have an opportunity. This gonna make y'all even smile even more about the Bucks draft. The potential of improving so much. The Bucks got five of the top 125 picks. I'm gonna repeat that, Bucks fans. The Bucks have 5 picks in the top 125. You got 125 players that are going to be drafted. The Bucks got 5 shots. That's a lot of ammo. They got a first, second, 2/3, and a 4th round pick. 5 of the top 125 players. If you just make the list of your best 125 players, the Bucks should be able to get 5 of them. Let me repeat that. The Bucks got 5 picks out of the top 125. 5. We need starters. Hashtag we need starters. Let's get back to the D-line. I think we cooking right here. We cooking with the D-line. I have more confidence in the D-line at 26 than Barton and Jackson Powers Johnson at 26. What scenario you think is going to happen? O-line at 26 or D-line at 26? You want to trade Godwin? I can't talk about offensive weapons right now, man. A-Rod, stay on topic, man. We're talking about O-line, D-line right now. Y'all asked for this. So I'm giving y'all the conversation y'all want to talk about. I'm giving y'all draft conversation. Straight up. An hour and 30 minutes into the conversation. We talking about O-line, D-line. I can do this all night. Stay on topic. We got time. The draft ain't till Thursday. We're going to talk about receivers, a position of need. We're going to definitely talk about receivers. I trust and believe me. But today is not the day. I got more faith in the Bucks getting the D lineman at 26 than the O lineman at 26. And that's going to suck too. Because I really want the Bucks to get Graham Barton and Jackson Powers Johnson. I really do. But it's just the way the draft going to fall. What y'all think going to happen? What y'all think about Chop Robinson? Do I need to put on the tape of Chop Robinson? Like, do I need to find some highlights on Chop Robinson? What's the big deal about him? Why are people bringing him up? Why are people bringing up Chop Robinson to the Bucks? What's the issue? Do I need to bring up some tape so we can watch some tape and see what I'm trying to figure out what I didn't see a lot from him. I didn't see a lot from him. I didn't see a lot from Chop Robinson. What's the big deal about Chop Robinson? Oh, by the way, for those of you that don't understand how this works, and I play now, mind you, I just found this out. So, the Bucks' top 30 visits, they had Jackson Powers Johnson come in. He came to Tampa, and guess who else came to Tampa? I'm gonna give y'all one guess. Guess who else Tampa brought in for a visit? Surprise me. Y'all didn't see it. I do this. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all. The Bucks also brought in Tanner Bortolini. The Bucks also brought in Tanner Bortolini for a top 30 visit. What do I tell you? I do this. I just found this. I just typed it in. I just typed in the Bucks draft visits, draft prospect visits, and I clicked on the Bucks, and boom. They brought in Tanner Bortolini for a visit, a formal visit. That means head coach, GM, assistant GM, scout director, player personnel director. That's what I'm talking about. Do you see what I see? I do this. I'm getting better and better at this, folks. Don't get mad at me. Go watch the tape. I watch tape, folks. I mentioned Tanner Bortolini 40 minutes ago. And the Bucks brought him in for a visit, and I just found this out. They also brought in Marshawn Nealon, which I already knew about. They did that. They also brought in Jared Versey for a top 30 visit. They also brought in Byron Murphy. Byron Murphy for a top 30 visit. I'm just saying, folks. I'm just getting y'all prepared for this, man. They also brought in Eruku Ohoroho, the dude from Clemson, the defensive tackle from Clemson, big dude. I'm just saying, folks. What did I tell you about Byron Murphy? About 10 minutes ago. What did I tell you about Byron Murphy? Oh, I'm going to take Newton. Okay. Just saying. Maybe you might need to go pop on the tape with Byron Murphy. Do I need to pop on some tape for y'all so y'all can so I can kind of get y'all brains functioning right? Are y'all watching tape, man? Or y'all just going by what y'all feel? Do I need to pop on some tape of Byron Murphy and Tanner Bortolini? Huh? Byron Murphy might get drafted by the Bucks. If I'm just saying, if the cards fall the way it's supposed to fall, Don't be surprised the Bucks say with the 26 picks, Tampa Bay Bucks select Byron Murphy. And a lot of y'all gonna be upset. Oh, they didn't draft Newton. I'm just saying. Don't be surprised. Now, I've named a few guys that I like that the Bucks are actually bringing in for visits or brought in for visit. So they reading my mind. They're reading my mind. I'm just saying, folks. Let's get back to the D line though. What do y'all want to see from the how many picks the Bucks should spend on the D line? How many picks the Bucks should spend on the D line? You know what's so crazy? Even after free agency, the Bucks still got to address the D line and the O line. Think about that for a second. They still got the same needs: D line, outside linebacker, and O line interior. They didn't do anything when it comes to position of need in the free agency, as far as a difference, making a difference. How many picks should the Bucks spend on the D line? One, two, three. Should it go? Should it go D line, O line, D line, or D line, O line, O line, or D line, O line, or O line, D line? Should the Bucks draft a need or best player available on the D line, O line? Meaning at 26, if your guy's there, if he's graded high, you take him anyway. Outside of drafting a left tackle, do you still draft a guy even though you got somebody there already, like a Luke Gadecki, a Cody Mulch? You still draft somebody right there. What y'all think, man? Where y'all at? Y'all done got quiet. I'm just saying. You know, Jared Verse, if he's there at 26, which I don't think so. I don't think he's gonna be there at 26. But if he's there, you gotta jump on that. I'm just saying. What y'all think? Byron Murphy, Newton, Chop, Latu, a Versi, a Barton, a Jackson Powers Johnson. What'll be a steal? The D line. I think this draft's gonna be fun, man. I think it's gonna be probably be one of the better drafts in recent history. Like in the last several years, I haven't seen a draft this deep. When the last time the Bucks drafted a quality defensive edge rusher? A quality defensive edge rusher. Yeah, Versi at 26 will be a major steal. When the last time the Bucks drafted a a franchise defensive end in the first round? When's the last time the Bucks drafted a defensive lineman, edge rusher in particular, that made a huge impact? Don't worry, I'll wait, Bucks fans. When the last time the Bucks drafted a D lineman, in particular edge rusher in the first round, that's like worth a damn. Matter of fact, since 2014, when Jason Light first got here. You know what's so crazy about the Bucks? The Bucks, to be honest with you, now that I'm thinking about it, the Bucks really can't draft best player available only. They're not. They don't have the. They're not in the position to do that. They have to draft a best player available position of need. We're not the Ravens, or we're not like an elite team that could just draft whoever the hell we want to draft and be like, we'll figure it out. I'm just saying. Would y'all be upset if the Bucks traded up in the first round? Yep. Third Matic, I agree. I would really if the Bucks traded up, I would only trade up for two players, maybe three: Jackson Powers Johnson, a Graham Barton, or a Jared Versey. And then when I mean by trade up, I'm not talking about trade up into the top 15. I'm talking about like 2019 trade up from 26 to 19, 26 to 21. Get in front of the Eagles or in the Cowboys. Pass rusher, edge rusher, Matt. Come on, Matt D. I'm not talking about interior. I'm talking about pass rushing, outside linebacker, defensive end. Gerald McCoy was a defensive tackle. Yeah, that's true. Shoot, 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 shoot. Yeah, the Giants probably draft. The Giants going to draft a quarterback, in my opinion, at some point, first or second round. They might draft Michael Penix in second round. But yeah, so this defensive line class is pretty deep, and there's a lot of guys that can help the Bucks. Darius Robinson, Jared Versey, Chop Robinson, which I'm not a big fan of. There's other guys I think that do a lot better. You know, um, Marshawn Nealon. You know, Adedicia Isaac, Penn State. Would y'all be cool with Braylon Trice at 26? Braylon Trice at 26? Or what about the second round? Marshawn Neal and Byron Murphy. Just saying. Stay look out for those two names, man. Darius Robinson. Anyway, uh, tell me what you guys think when it comes to defensive linemen. I can see where the Bucks can go at. And the Bucks, the thing about this draft for the Bucks, they have a lot of clear needs. So you really can't pinpoint exactly where they're going to go at. So it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to really pinpoint where the Bucks going to go because they so all over the place with what they need. It's like you really can't hone in like a clear cut. Like, yes, they need an interior O line, guard, center, but they also need a pass rusher. So it's like, okay, then a receiver, a linebacker. Okay, cool. And they need a cornerback. It's like you don't really know exactly where the Bucks are gonna go because they got too many needs, and y'all don't realize it's a lot of needs, folks. Lucas Pettis, shout out to you. I wouldn't be mad if they go D tackle again, but William Golston is up there in age. Anthony Nelson ain't really showing you nothing. Vita getting up there in age. Marquise Watts, really? They're gonna have to get somebody with that can get there. I'm just saying, folks. Oh, Zaire Newton and Savassier Dennis are cousins. Newton is from Tampa, and Savassier Dennis is his cousin. Hey, Lucas, I'll tell you this much. I hope they're not banking on that. I hope they're not banking on Marquise Watts and Ramirez, both undersized pass rushers to make a jump. Both of them like 6', 6'1", and they light. Watts and Ramirez, you banking on that? I hope they're not banking on that. I hope they're not banking on Ramirez and Watts, man. That's terrible. That'd be a bad idea. Anyway, to recap what we talked about, um, O line, D line, the trenches, right? The Bucks can go either way, especially in the first 4 picks. It just depends on what order, right? It depends on who's there at 26, who's there at 57. It can go either way. It can go O line, D line. It can go D line, O line. I like the D line, O line kind of play because the O line, D line play would be kind of like risky because you got to trade up to get one of your guys. You don't want to lose draft capital. So if you just sit there at 26 and pick the best available pass rusher at 26, and you roll with it. And then you come back in the second round, you get your, your O-line, your interior O-lineman. Like, who that? Alge335, $5 super chat. Are you going to do a live show during the draft? Of course. Thank you for the super chat. The first super chat for tonight. Everybody been quiet tonight. Was it too late? Maybe I need to do a little earlier tomorrow. Maybe I do it around about 5. But yeah, I'm definitely going live. I've went live for every draft. Matter of fact, I might even play some of my old video for my old draft process. Like, as like the pre-draft, like before the draft come on Thursday, I might pop in the 2019 BucosLocker draft party. And we watching that. Or y'all watching that while we getting ready for the draft. Or last year's draft video. Or 2022. I might do something different this year. Might have to throw that tape on. But yeah, I'm definitely going live. I have not missed a draft in 7 years. I started the show back in 2016. I've had a draft party every year. This is going on year 8. 8 years and running. I need to. Oh, for my 10-year anniversary, I need to go to an actual draft party, or the actual draft itself. So, with that being said, I thank y'all for joining a live episode of the first video of the 2024 draft discussion, O-line, D-line, aka the trenches. We talked about everything. We talked about the tackles. We talked about the guards. We talked about the centers. We talked about the pass rushers. We talked about the guys in the interior. We covered all bases. Did I miss anything when it comes to the trenches? No. Tomorrow we move on. Tomorrow we're gonna move on to cornerbacks. We might need to talk about that. I might do cornerbacks, and matter of fact, I'm gonna have to double it up. We're gonna do cornerbacks and receivers tomorrow. We're gonna do cornerbacks and receivers. I think that'll be fair enough. We're gonna talk about the cornerbacks that the Bucks can get at 26 on the second round, third round. We also talk about the receivers the Bucks could get at 26 and 57 and 89 and 125. Deep class when it comes to receivers. There shouldn't be no reason why the Bucks shouldn't draft one. I'm just saying. With that being said, fire those cannons, seize the day, raise the flag. Hashtag we need starters. Hashtag draft is around the corner. Hashtag facts of the feelings. Hashtag why. Hashtag what are we doing? Hashtag what is this? Hashtag probability over possibility. Hashtag reality over optimism. Hashtag make sure your crypto bags are good. Layer 2s, layer 3s, RWAs, AI, DPIN. Solana to the moon. Aerodrone to the moon. Hashtag Aerodrone. Hashtag Solana. Hashtag meme coins. Hashtag Pepe. Hashtag Bonk. Okay. Fire those cannons. Seize the day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Receivers, cornerbacks. and I'll come on a little more earlier tomorrow, so we'll have some more time to play with. So I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Peace out.